All right, once you're through the entrance here and you're scanned in, now you're inside the park. You have the option to get your photo taken here. They do a really nice job. You can purchase those at the front at the end of your day. Over to the right, got a coaster candy shop here. Pizza place up on the right. This is one of the main gift shops, mainly featuring Looney Tunes. Six Flags does have a licensing deal with both DC and Warner Brothers, so you're going to see a lot of DC superhero theming, and you're going to see a lot of Looney Tunes theming here. Speaking of which, it looks like today on Easter Sunday, in true Easter theming, we've got Tweety Bird out here, and Daffy's hanging out too. Nice photo opportunity. Now, since we're actually not GP, we're gonna head to the right. A lot of people tend to gravitate towards the left. However, if you go to the right once you enter the park, you're gonna see Twisted Cyclone. Probably the current flagship coaster at the park. Great ride, RMC. If the day is a little bit too busy, you can stop over here and get your flash pass if you like. That'll help you skip the line.
Useful on days like today.
Today is definitely the perfect day. Keep being here on a holiday for sure. As we continue on around, you'll see the entry queue for Twisted Cyclone.
The old Georgia Cyclone.
Average wait time for this on a normal day is about 20 minutes. On a busy day, you could reach wait times of close to an hour.
Right now, it looks to be about a 15-minute wait.
Directly to the right of that is the exit queue. And as with many theme parks, you will exit through the gift shop of the Twisted Cyclone supplies. Also some restroom facilities located towards the back. And you can buy some various DC merchandise over here as well, and some random emoji hats. Continuing on around, directly across from Twisted Cyclone, one of the more popular dining areas in the park, Johnny Rockets, your standard American fare, burgers, fries, nuggets, all the good stuff. Probably not. I think they're more like tenders, chicken tenders. Over here, stroller rental. If you're coming with the brood, you got your all your ducklings in tow. You can stick them in a stroller and make the day a little bit easier. Six Flags Over Georgia isn't one of the hillier parks, but it can get tedious and cumbersome walking around with the little ones, so a stroller could be nice. Here we have the face painting station here. Nice little touch. You know what kids don't like to get their face painted? There's an access road for employees that goes directly over this walkway here. This is the walkway connecting the front main area towards the back of the park. So after we get from the Twisted Cyclone area, we come around here, some extra restroom facilities, also a place to board the train. And there goes Twisted Cyclone right behind. Directly across from there, we have Acrophobia. Acrophobia is the park's drop tower. You're gonna get pretty high up there. I believe it's right around 200 feet. Now what makes this different than some drop towers you may encounter, I don't know how well this is gonna show up on video, but as you reach the top, they actually lean you outward, so you're kind of tilting down. It was a nice precursor to what Falcon's Fury is down in Tampa. Acrophobia. Nice solid drop tower. Continuing on around. New for 2019. This was formerly just a standard food area. They now converted it into a Six Flags member lounge as Six Flags moves into some of their newer business models where they kind of created a tier system. In the past, it was either day pass or season ticket holder. Now you can also become a member, which is a monthly payment plan, and depending on which tier of member you are, determines your benefits. So the higher you go, obviously, the more percentage of discounts that you get, and preferred parking and things of that nature. Here's our refill station. You can get some sodas over here and some water. Coming on around, this is actually the station house for one of the original attractions when this park first opened, Dahlonega Mine Train. Classic Aero mine train. One of the better mine trains. Probably somewhere in the middle of the pack of mine trains that I've been on. Continuing on around. Over here we have the Sky Buckets. Sky Buckets at this park, a nice touch. You don't see a lot of parks that have both a train and Sky Buckets, so that's one thing that kind of sets this park apart from the rest of the pack. However, I should warn you, the Sky Buckets are usually not running more than they are. I actually can't tell if they are today. It looks like they're not. Got a little Dippin' Dots area over here. Off to the right of the midway, the Glad Hatter. Looks like a place that specializes in hat wear, but you can also get your standard DC capes and emoji hats. You're going to see about 5 or 6 of those places kind of scattered throughout the park. Over here we have vintage photography, and that's a nice spot. You can get your old-timey family photographs taken here. They'll provide all the Western garb in the backdrop. All you got to do is bring your stern, hardened 1890s face, and it's a nice touch. Also new for 2019, this place is called Strutter's. Chicken wings, and they sell a little bit of beer in here as well. This was formerly Panda Express. Apparently the licensing deal ran out between Six Flags and Panda Express. So for 2019, this has been rebranded as a wing spot. It is pretty delicious. I've had it before. It's nice. Over off to this side, we have a $10 and under store. Just various merchandise. Not a lot of park theming sold here. And that brings us to the next section here, which is Bugs Bunny's Boomtown. This is little kids' paradise over here. Great place for the little ones. You have just a standard playground off to the side here. Not a lot of kids playing on that right now. Probably because they're a little bit more intrigued by things that you don't see in a park every day. Yosemite Sam wagons, little mini Ferris wheel. Of course, this entire area is, if you can't already tell, themed towards the Looney Tunes. They have a Tweety and Sylvester themed mini kids drop tower. Little stage area over here. Not often used, but I have seen a couple of little performances for the kids over here. Usually they'll have Looney Tunes themed characters performing, singing, dancing, taking pictures with the kids. It's a lot of fun. Down here we have the Acme Trucking Company attraction. And that's literally just an attraction where the kids and their parents can drive little trucks around. In the background there is one of the 3 lift hills for Dahlonega Mine Train. And then right out of here is the final drop, where you will dip out of this house, go down into a tunnel, and then it randomly gets very intense, which is pretty interesting. Here we have some Speedy Gonzales themed speedboats going on around this way. We got Boomtown snacks, corn dogs, hot dogs, pretzels, drinks. We've got a DC Super Friends themed area over here. Then off to this side, got Bugs Bunny's High Seas Adventure, which are essentially just it's a mini swing ride themed to boats on the high seas. A little pirate ship themed action. As we come in here, this is the Kids Arcade. Once upon a time, before this was an arcade, this featured a bunch of punching bags, little mini obstacle course the kids could run through. Interestingly enough, inside this arcade is the entrance to the Joker, which is a Vekoma Junior steel coaster for the kids. As you exit out this way, you'll see where that leads you. The queue line being there, and a little portion of the track, as it does interact with some of the theming in the Bugs Bunny Boomtown area. This is actually a really nice, solid kiddie coaster. Really, I'd call it a family coaster. As we continue on around, we kind of make that transition from Looney Tunes into DC. This is the newer addition to the kids area. I believe this is its 3rd season in operation. You've got some Batman-themed helicopters. We've got Wonder Woman snap flyers. We've got a Superman-themed, a little bit more intense drop tower than the Sylvester one that we saw previously. And then as we continue on around this way, we kind of exit the kids area and we head towards the backside of the park. As you come on around here, you'll see that just over this bridge here, the zombie of the park, as I like to call it, the now defunct Splashwater Falls. Hasn't been in operation now for a couple of years. We're just waiting to see what they put in this area next. There was a really cool element right here where you could see Dahlonega Mine Train almost would interact with where that splashdown on that boat was. Every now and then, if you timed it just right, you could wave to some friends that were about to get wet while you were riding a mine train. It was kind of cool. But it looks like this ride is going the way of the dinosaurs. This area will probably be filled in. My personal theory, along with Mike's theory, is that this could eventually become an area for a 4D free spin. As we know, Six Flags really, really likes 4D free spins, and I think that would be a nice addition to the park, and it would fit nicely in that space. But we'll see what the future holds. No one knows. All right, so now you see we've come to a crossroads. We're going to go ahead and go right. As we head right, we come up this pathway here. Just a nice transition from one area to the next. Off to here, you get some really nice views of where we just were, over in the Bugs Bunny Boomtown themed area. Now, as this path winds around, up here on the left, you'll notice there are some antique cars driving along this pathway here. This was the original kids area of the park. But we'll walk around and we'll show you that here in a second. At the top of the hill, we'll just swing a hard left. And that brings us to the Riverview Carousel, the Hanson cars. and the Rockin' Tug. So in this park's early days, this was the original kids area. You would kind of make your way up to the top of this hill here. You have your antique cars kind of going below. The entrance to the Hanson antique cars is right here. You would then make your way along this queue here. This is actually the end of the ride we're seeing here. We have the Rockin' Tug, a nice little attraction for kids, almost like a beginner's Zamperla disco, if you will. Here are the balloons. Then a really, really nice centerpiece of the park, if you will, is this beautiful, beautiful carousel designed by Philadelphia Toboggan Coasters. This carousel is actually a National Historical Landmark. It was constructed in 1908. However, it was relocated here sometime in the 60s. As we make our way back down and around, unfortunately, this is kind of a one-way street here. So once you get to the end, you got to make your way back down. So now we rejoin the path that we just broke off of earlier, and this brings us into the Metropolis area. One of the newer rides, only a couple of seasons old, is the Justice League 4D interactive shooting ride. You'll see these featured at several Six Flags parks. They kind of partner with a company called Sally Rides. And essentially these are all clone rides, but they're really, really fun. A lot of interactive stuff going on too. There's little pyrotechnics and some barrels that almost fall on you. There's the exit queue, which in true Six Flags fashion, you have to go through the gift shop to get out of the ride. Nothing wrong with that. We enjoy merch. This would be the entry queue here. That'll bring you up these switchbacks here and into the building, featuring a lot of really good theming. A really cool animatronic greets you at the front. The character Cyborg from the DC universe is actually preparing you for your battle with the Joker. It's pretty cool. We come along here to the B&M Flyer Superman Ultimate Flight. This one is a clone. Several are featured in the US. This is a pretty solid one. You know, of course, the signature pretzel loop, kind of the hallmark of any B&M flying coaster. And this pretzel loop does not disappoint. Really, really nice. Now, as we come through to here, you see some games. Six Flags likes to squeeze in some carnival games, little pay-to-play action. Throw the ring on the bottle, shoot the water, make the thing go up, win a giant stuffed animal. Now, if you continue on through here, you kind of exit the Metropolis theming. And this takes you over to the entrance to Hurricane Harbor, which is the water park attached to Six Flags. You'll see this name reused throughout the chain. Most Six Flags have water parks either attached or in the vicinity of the dry park. And they're pretty much all called Hurricane Harbor. This one's not open yet. It's not even Memorial Day yet. But it is a solid park. It does feature 2 wave pools, which is really nice. And a nice little collection of slides, some of which you can't see because we can't go far back there. But it's nice. Now up here we have a Sky Flyer. This is an additional charge if you want to go on this thing. But it is pretty cool. Doesn't look like we have anybody suiting up to do it anytime soon right now, which is a surprise because the park is busy. But essentially, you load up on this platform here, they draw you back up there, and you swing around and down onto here. Also in the background, as you can see, we've got a couple of coasters going up the lift hill at the same time. Closest to us is Great American Scream Machine, and further back is Blue Hawk. So we'll continue on around and I'll show you all of that here in just a sec. Make our way around, you see the entrance to the Great American Scream Machine. Classic wooden coaster, been around since the early 70s. They just did some retracking in the off season, so it's got a nice smooth first half. Still a little rough on the second half, but nothing that you shouldn't already expect out of a wooden coaster. Alright, as we keep on making our way around this way, we head towards the Vekoma NK 1200, or really just a Vekoma custom looper. Here's Blue Hawk as it ascends up the lift hill. Definitely one of the slower lift hills in the park. But it's got a gorgeous setting though. It's over this nice little pond here. And most of the coaster does go over the water, so it does feature concrete footers that do go into the pond itself. It's just a really cool setting for when you're inverting and you're kind of interacting with some of the terrain. This coaster's been featured in a couple of motion pictures. I think most famously, it was featured in the remake of a National Lampoon Family Vacation starring Ed Helms. This is the ride towards the end of the movie. Actually, the entire sequence was filmed here at Six Flags Over Georgia. There's a fight scene that happens in the station house to Blue Hawk. They win their seats on the coaster against this evil family. And then the coaster somehow magically gets stuck at the top of the vertical loop. Totally unrealistic, but that's why we love Hollywood. Over here we have a pavilion. This is where you can do like corporate events, big family barbecues. If you got enough money to rent this place out, you've got a gorgeous area away from the rest of the park. You have to have a pass to get in. You can have it catered, Six Flags can cater it, or you can have outside companies cater for you. But really, really nice facility. As we enter on around into this section of the park, we come onto what is called Lick Skillet, almost the old Western themed area of the park. Of course, up to the left here we have the entrance to Sky Screamer, the Sky Flyer that we just saw. Does not appear to be operating today, but I do see some ops out there, so it looks like they're trying to get it up and running sometime soon. Over here you can purchase some smoked turkey legs at the Hickory Chip. Coming on around this way, we've got another snack stand over here featuring pizza. And then yet another snack stand over here that looks like it has popcorn, cotton candy. On over here is the Lick Skillet Square. Essentially, it's just an outside dining area. Nice touch that they've added, though. because it's not just a pavilion where you can eat, but actually that theming there in the background, they do a Wild Wild West show featuring actors with little pop guns, and they tell the whole story. It's very heavy on the comedy. From what I can tell, they have not changed this show in the last couple seasons, but it's pretty entertaining, and people seem to like it. The kids always laugh. It's a lot of fun. Over here is the Miners Cookhouse. This place is featuring burgers, grilled chicken salad, barbecue pork sandwich, fries, chicken strips, and cold drinks. Definitely a nice area for, say, a 100-degree day. You could pop in there and get some air conditioning while you eat. This is the Six Flags Mercantile Company. This one has some interesting souvenirs, t-shirts, some themed to the park, some not. Over here we have a funnel cake stand. Doesn't appear to be open today, but it does operate. And that brings us to the next area. This is the newly themed Scream Punk District. The pendulum swing that's coming here, called Pandemonium, will kind of be the anchor of the Scream Punk District. I'm hearing there's a little bit more theming to come in the future from this, but we'll see. So far, this appears to be the only thing indicating that this is a different area. I mean, obviously right here we still have some Lick Skillet Wild West theming. Now, on over here, as another part of the Scream Punk District, we have Pandemonium. Now, as we continue to make our way around, we've got a little Boneless Wings stand here. It does not appear to be open today. But as the season progresses, I think you'll start to see some more of these things open up. Still pretty early in the season. Over here, someone will guess your weight. Probably the least desirable job in the entire park, because if you get it wrong, you make people mad. Very unforgiving job, I would imagine. Just some general theming here. This is actually just a little pump house, I think, and there's actually a water wheel on the other side of that. We have the Country Cousins lemonade stand. Here's that water wheel I was telling you about. Now, we've looped back around to where we are getting towards that DC Kids area that we were in a little bit earlier. So we've actually made our circle all the way around through the back section of the park, and we're heading back towards the front. All right, so looping back around this way, because we kind of rejoined the original midway that we left to go into Bugs Bunny's Boomtown. Over here, try that again. Over here is JBs Sports Bar and Grill, and it's a pretty cool area. This is one of the newer dining areas that they added. I guess it's been about 3 seasons now. But they actually do have TVs, so you can just let the kids run wild, depending on how old they are. And you can sit out here, and they are pretty good about having the big game on. There is a bar here. A couple of bartenders. I've always gotten great service when I've patronized this bar. And the food is your standard fare. You got some potato curls, burgers, tenders, all that fun stuff. So now we're back to the entryway to Bugs Bunny's Boomtown. And over here, right next to the Sky Buckets and just behind the Acrophobia drop tower, we have this building here, which is the Crystal Pistol. This is the theater. So yeah, the Crystal Pistol is the theater in the park. They do some seasonal shows, especially around Christmas time. They do like a big Christmas show here. Looks like coming soon. They've got some a soulful look back at the artists and music that defined R&B. That show will be coming soon. Moving on around, we have a CocaCola store here. A little tip and a trick if you have a season bottle, especially. This is a drink refill station that no one knows about because it's stuck in the back of this Coca-Cola gift shop. If you just go in this way, it doesn't really look like you can get a drink in here unless you purchase a bottle. But if you have one of those season bottles already, just head on back. They have a couple of Coca-Cola freestyle machines that no one ever knows about. And so you never have to wait in line to get a refill if you're in this area of the park. There's an airbrush t-shirt shop. You can get some custom designs. Here, another face paint stand for the kids. Also for the kids, probably one of my favorite unique attractions at any park I've ever been to. And yes, I am biased because this is my home park, but outside of the theming of, say, a Disney or a Universal park, you're not going to find anything quite as unique as Monster Mansion. Monster Mansion is a dark ride. It's a boat ride featuring really unique animatronics, most of which that have been around since the late 60s, early 70s. It kind of came about around the same era as HR Pufnstuf. And so you're going to see some really trippy things in there. Actually, we do have a POV featured on this channel, where if you want, you can check out a full ride-through that we shot here a couple of weeks ago. Super interesting ride, though. You're never going to see anything like it in any other park. That is a guarantee. So we have a Jelly Belly shop here. You can play all kinds of fun Bean Boozled games if you go in there and purchase that. Got a little locker station up here on the left. Crowds are getting a little thick in this area. I'll try to weave through. So we got a little ice cream shop here. Breyer's Ice Cream. All right, this is the nacho stand here. Nachos and burritos. Apparently we're heading back to the USA. I didn't know we ever left, but we're coming back. Over here, train station. Another point of entry or exit for the lovely train that circles this entire park. Off here to the left, we can see Goliath ascending the lift hill.
Guarantee win. The easiest game in the park.
All right, so as we walk into this area, we feature, so this area boasts a few carnival games off to the side. You You can shoot some hoops over here. You can win some prizes. But if you continue to make your way back, you come to the main attraction, this whole section of the park, which is Goliath. This entire area actually is kind of themed to Goliath. Now this is one of my favorite coasters in the park. It is a Bolliger and Mabillard Hyper Coaster. Goes over 200 feet, 70 miles per hour top speed, features a great helix element, and most importantly, sick airtime. Who doesn't love airtime? So this is where you would enter into the queue for Goliath, head through these switchbacks if necessary, and right up here to the station house. And then that'll take you to this grand, beautiful lift hill here, where you'll plunge over 200 feet at a speed of about 70 miles an hour. We'll just take a second here to enjoy Goliath as it goes up. You have your Goliath gifts and souvenirs, some more pay-to-play games. This area here used to feature some arcade cabinets and what have you, claw machines. They cleared that out in favor of just a little canopy, a little shaded area in places, and some benches for people to congregate in. It seems to be a much more efficient use of the space. Nobody was playing those claw games anyway. It's just it's a nice aesthetic to the park, I think. Nice addition to it. I like those canopies. Now directly across, as you can see, is Daddy-O's Barbecue. They're going to feature some chicken and pulled pork sandwiches. As you can see on the side of the building, they feature air-conditioned seating. Always a plus in these hot Georgia summers. Sometimes that humidity gets a little high, that air gets a little thick. Sometimes you just want to sit in the nice, cool, dry air and enjoy some good old barbecue. Now as we make our way around to this area here, you can purchase some ices. You can have some caricatures drawn of you or your loved ones, all for a pretty reasonable price. Yeah, you'll definitely notice that oh, hey, here's all the coaster kids. All right. I know those kids. So, as we make our way around this way, we've got DJs. This is kind of the main diner. I would say this is the largest dining area in the park. Themed to an old-timey diner. Got some burgers, some tenders, some fries, and some soda. On around this way, we've got some live local music. And this park does do a really good job of keeping live local music here. Every time I've been here so far this season, they've had a band playing out here. So they definitely keep that stage full and they keep the entertainment rolling. Now we come on down here to the Gerstlauer Eurofighter in the park, Daredevil Dive. One of the smoother rides in the park for sure. Gerstlauer definitely knows what they're doing when it comes to smoothness of rides. The downside of this ride, as you can see here in the queue line, is it can have some pretty long wait times. The capacity is pretty limited on these Gerstlauer Eurofighters to 6 person per train. So it can be a little tedious waiting in that line because the capacity is pretty low. Still a solid Eurofighter though. I would advise if you get here, depending on what day of your visit, get here early and ride that first. Because that's the line that stacks up longer than any other line in this park. All right, as we make our way down from this area, we enter into one of the really cool areas of the park that I like a lot, which is the Gotham City area. I don't know about you guys, but I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and the Tim Burton, Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson Batman films were very iconic. Frank Miller's retelling of Batman and kind of making him darker in the 80s definitely made him more interesting. And this park is kind of a testament to all that. It definitely has a cool feel. It's one of the more uniquely themed areas in this park. And although you don't really come to a Six Flags park for theming, this is probably the area where you're going to get some of the best theming. So as soon as you get out of the tunnel and you enter into the Gotham area, you come across the Joker Chaos Coaster, which is a classic Larson Looper. Not the biggest Larson Looper in the chain, but it's still a solid ride. Over here, we've got some Batman, Robin, and Batgirl themed swings. These are the smaller swings in the park if you're not really into a Sky Screamer. Got a Gotham City snack booth. This is the backside to what was once a huge amphitheater that was used for a Batman stunt show that no longer operates here. Of course, the centerpiece of the entire Gotham area, the Batmobile, which if you come here during Christmas time is replaced by a giant Batman-themed Christmas tree. Over here we've got some snacks. Got some really cool theming that was, I think, once a part of the Batman show itself. But now it's just on top of a snack bar. Coming back this way, you will see some more Gotham City theming. The circus comes to Gotham City. Got our restroom facilities. And more importantly, one of the two anchor coasters to the Gotham area, the B&M inverted Batman clone, Batman the Ride. Super intense. In the grand scheme of Batman inverts, this is easily the smoothest one I've ridden. We just rode 3 in Texas less than a month ago, so they're all very fresh in my mind of how smooth and rough they were. The one here at Six Flags Over Georgia is going to be the smoothest one that you'll find anywhere in this area. Over here we've got Harley Quinn Spin Sanity. One of the rides that I avoid like the plague because it's got the word spin in the title. You can already guess what that one's going to do to you. Kind of a more modernized teacups ride, essentially, but the spinning is still the same. Not a fan, but if you are, you'll love it. All right, as we keep making our way around, we got some monster trucks here. Looks like one bit the dust already. Someone's trying to help him out. Tilts him up over. Get him! You can do it! Another little cool attraction though. Drop a couple of coins in and you too can operate your own monster truck. Entry queue to Harley Quinn Spin Sanity, which runs directly under the final brake run of the second anchor coaster here in the Gotham themed area, which is Mindbender. Mindbender is easily top 3 ride here at the park. And out of the top 3, it's the oldest by far as well. This was built in the late 70s. It is a Schwarzkopf sit-down steel coaster. And easily one of the most interesting layouts. It follows the terrain, it's smooth, it pulls a lot of G's at the bottom of those vertical loops. It's just an all-around great ride. In the realm of Schwarzkopf custom steel coasters, this one ranks pretty high in my opinion. No disrespect to Shockwave at Six Flags Over Texas, which I thought was phenomenal. Who doesn't love Schwarzkopf? But this one's superior. It's just got a cooler layout. It's got a little bit more going on. We enjoy it. Here we are back at the swings now. We've fully looped around the Gotham area. Though it is small, it is very well themed. Even to these like lamp posts here. Really, really cool. There's little details. Crime Wave is the name of those swings, by the way. I failed to mention that earlier. All right. This area is nice. A lot of overhanging shade here. During the Christmas time, holiday in the park portion of the season, they really light this thing up. A lot of beautiful lights. They're synchronized to the music. Now, as we make our way back to the front entrance of the park, and nearly complete our full walkthrough of this park, we come through to see the Georgia Scorcher. Classic B&M stand-up coaster. This is probably the best one. Still smooth, no need for a floorless conversion on this train. And just to make things even better for the 2019 season, they actually painted the track, which was this peeling, fading orange, and now it's this lovely, gorgeous, shiny red color. It's running louder and smoother than ever. Who doesn't love that B&M roar? Yeah, there's the entry queue for Georgia Scorcher. Fantastic stand-up coaster. If you're watching this Six Flags, do not, I repeat, do not convert this to a floorless coaster. We have Log Jamboree closed today, but it has been running the entire season. Of course, classic log flume ride. What more can you say about that? So as we make our way back down, we near the end of our journey as we circle around to the front of the park. In the distance there, you can see Twisted Cyclone, which is just to the right of the entrance of the park when we first came in. Now we're just to the left of the entrance of the park. As we circle back around, one final funnel cake stand here. Word to the wise, unless you really like lines, walk further back into the park. The lines for these stands are always the longest, for no reason at all other than it's close to the entrance and it's the first thing that people see and they flock to it all day long. These lines, however, aren't too bad today, but usually you'll see them sticking all the way out into the midway. One of the last things you'll see here is this is the main entrance right here, the midway. When we came in, we went to the right. If you came in from there and came to the left instead, you'll find guest relations and your member services area. Back to the Looney Tunes gift shop. Back to the very beginning where we started. And that concludes our full walkthrough of Six Flags over Georgia for the 2019 season. Thanks for checking out GP Coasters. I am Jimmy, aka Gary Parsons, and the homie Mike dipped off a while back, but he's known as Greg Paul. Please like and subscribe to our channel, and check out some new videos. We'll see you again in the future. Signing off on Easter Sunday from Six Flags over Georgia. Peace.